Hello everyone, this is Bloody Bananas. Welcome to another video. In this video, I'm going to showcase a team that brought us all the way up from 3400s at the end of Love Cup. Actually, at the start of Great League, I tanked a little bit of points at the beginning of Great League to the 3400s, and I was trying out a lot of different teams. I couldn't really find one that worked very well in this meta until I started running this team. Which brought us back to the 35-50 MMR range. This team, at a first glance, doesn't make any sense to a lot of people, but I'll try to explain the strategy as best as I can. This team works because even though it has two very bad save swaps, right? These two save swaps can get walled by a lot of Pokemon very easily, but if you think about it, if you look at the team, the center of the team is Empoleon. And then you have two covers for Empoleon's counters. But we're not running Empoleon in the lead. We're actually running Mew in the lead. The reason why is Mew can handle a lot of the lead Pokemon that we do see in this meta. For example, Azumarill, G-Stunfisk, and a lot of the fighters. So that's why I like running in the lead. And then also when you throw the wild charge, you can always swap out to get rid of the debuff and then come back with Mew later. And also it has very strong farm down potential. So it's a very interesting, because if you look at it, there are two cores. The first core being Mew and Empoleon, so you have Mew handling the fighters, and then you have the Altaria being like a hard answer to the fighters as well, except that the center of the core is not running in the lead. So a lot of times there are two situations that can happen, right? Let's say you win the lead. Mew can handle whatever they have. Let's say it's a Stunfisk, and you can very easily win that matchup. And once you win that matchup, you have a very solid core in the back, and there's not a lot of Pokemon that can handle both of these Pokemon. And you end up just winning by having a very good switch advantage. And let's say the second situation, you lose the lead, so it's most likely a dark type. I would say that's like the only time where you really lose the lead from you. And then you go into Altaria. Generally, when they have a dark type, they're not going to they're definitely going to have an answer for Azumarill, so it's very likely for them to have a grass type Pokemon in the back. So that means they most likely don't have a very good counter for Altaria. So what happens is either you win switch advantage back with Altaria, or you lose the Altaria, but you still have a very solid core in the back, and you're getting a lot of farm. And with farm, Mew can even handle some of the dark type Pokemon, because when you throw the two wild charges, they're really going to hurt pretty much anything. And also, a very important thing about this team is that all three Pokemon have very strong farm down potential. They all apply very strong fast move pressure. So, and when they have a lot of energy, they can always do a lot of damage to its worst enemies. For example, even Empoleon with a lot of farm can handle most of the fighters in this meta as well. So we'll look at some of the games where we lose lead, where we win lead, but I think this team is a lot of fun, and I think Empoleon is an absolute beast. So I definitely recommend this team. There's a bit of a learning curve. It's not an easy team where you can just pick it up, but let's go over the battles and see how I play each of the matchups. These videos are sped up 1.5 speed. Okay, this is a very bad lead because my Mew doesn't have Flame Charge, so I can't really threaten this Abomasnow. And also, obviously, my Altaria is very bad against this Abomasnow. Fortunately, they swap out. I'm going to charge up to 2 wild charges, and then I'm going to swap into my Altaria. Altaria has a very good matchup against this Munchlax. Even though Munchlax is very tanky, Altaria can really put out a lot of pressure here with the Sky Attacks and the Dragon Breaths. Let's see. I don't think we're gonna farm it all the way down. We do have to throw some energy in order to KO this Munchlax. But we should be able to get to the Sky attack. Do I let it go? Okay, I actually let it go. So this is one important thing I was talking about as well. I see a complete farm down opportunity here. Because they threw the energy, and now I just got 4 waterfalls of farm on my Empoleon, and this is very, very important. Because even against Abomasnow, grass type, you still have the Drill Peck to really threaten the Abomasnow, right? And they go for a move, probably a bait, but we do have to respect the energy ball. And we had a wild charge forward, so I'm just going to go into my Mew and throw the wild charge to force a shield, or we KO this Abomasnow. They didn't end up shielding, so we did KO the Abomasnow, right? And they had a Sableye in the back. At this point, I think all I need to do is throw the Hydro Cannon. I actually thought they had another shield here, so that's why I didn't throw the move immediately. I was trying to build up to 2 because I thought they had a shield, but they didn't have a shield, and we should be able to KO this Sableye with 1 Hydro Cannon here. Good game to my opponent. Next game, Mew against Abomasnow yet again. Okay, Abomasnows are not very great leads. Generally, it's an uphill battle whenever you see Abomasnow, but sometimes you could still turn it back around. It all depends on how it plays out, because all of your Pokemon can do a lot of damage to Abomasnow if you have an energy lead. We do bait the flame charge. They come out with the Medicham. This is very bad, but Empoleon is kind of like my only safe swap against Abomasnow, so that's why I went for it. And we forced Medicham to throw the energy here. I think I could actually shield here and farm it down. Maybe that was a play that I should have considered, but instead I'm going to farm down. That's one important thing about this team is that you always want to farm down. You always want to find an opportunity in order to farm down with some of your Pokemon. You don't really need to win switch advantage some of the times if you know that you're going to have a very safe farm down. So that's what happens in this case. We got a pretty good farm with Mew. We're just going to throw the double serves. They do shield the first one, but the second one goes through, so we did do a lot of damage to Abomasnow. They go for a Weather Ball here. We obviously have to shield. It turned out they had a Cresselia in the back, so I think we're not going to take this game, unfortunately, because we didn't really know what they had in the back. But it was a very interesting team. So their backline are both weak to Mew, and Abomasnow is not really a counter to Mew, but I guess it could be considered pretty good against a Mew. But anyways, good game to my opponent. And next up we have Mew against Obstacle. Okay, whenever you see Obstacle, you have to be extremely cautious, because there's a team of Obstacle with 2 Charmers running extremely rampant in Great League. I haven't seen as many as I saw before, like when last time Great League was coming around. I'm just hoping this is not a double Charmer team, because if it's a double Charmer, then my Altaria essentially has no play, right? Let's see what I do here. I'm going to obviously let it go down. I couldn't really swap out, but it turned out they had a Mew, so it's not a double Charmer, I'm thinking. But it's still possible that they have a Charmer in the back, right? I think I should just stay in this matchup, honestly, if I do think that they have a Charmer. They actually have Ice Beam on the Mew, so we got a pretty good farm down. Again, whenever you see that farm down opportunity, you always want to take it on this team, because when you have the energy advantage, like here, we definitely can get shields here. Do I shield here? Okay, at this point I'm just going to have to rely, hoping that they don't have another Charmer in the back. But if they do have a Charmer, then essentially they have perfect hard counter to us. And in these situations, I wanted to show this video is also just to get this out of the way. When they have the perfect counters, obviously there's nothing you can do, right? Every team will be hard countered. Okay, let's see this game. That was Sabwai. Sabwai is also rough as a safe swap because we don't have a direct answer. So what I like to do is throw a move to chip it down a little bit and then go into my Empoleon and farm it all the way down. We do have to shield one of the foul plays, but we should be able to tank one and then just farm it all the way down. And again, with the energy, Empoleon is very, very strong. And also the reason why I went to Empoleon is obviously I wanted to avoid the Medicham matchup, right? So they had an Abomasnow. So Abomasnow is going to be my whole team here. Fortunately, they did not shield. And they have to throw energy here. For some reason, I didn't get to throw my drill pack. I had it against the Medicham, but I think there was a little bit of lag, so I couldn't throw out the drill pack. But this is fine because we're able to get the Abomasnow really, really low, and that is very important. Once the Abomasnow is out of the picture, Altaria can really do a lot of work. I'm actually going to let this go because Ice Punch will not KO. Turn out just to be a power-up punch. So I'm going to just keep spamming the serves. I want to apply the shield pressure. And also, I'm fine letting Mew go down. They end up getting, two shielding the Medicham. I'm not going to shield the first one because I know that one Ice Punch will not KO. And because they have Power Punch, so they probably don't have Ice Punch, right? If they have Power Punch, probably Psychic. So that's why I didn't shield. And then the Abomasnow came back. They weren't able to get to double, weather ball, and they couldn't farm us down, so we were able to take that game. This game we're against Hypno, and it's the Hypno Scrafty core that we see a lot, especially in this meta. I think I've seen a lot of Hypno leads with Scrafty in the back, and this team can absolutely destroy that core, can absolutely tear that core apart. But if they safe swap into Scrafty, you have to be a little bit careful because it could be a double dark team. And the double dark team with Umbreon is extremely dangerous. So let's see if this is an Umbreon in the back. Generally, Umbreon in the back is also very tough for this team, but it's a team effort in order to take down the Umbreon. So their Hypno got a lot of farm. I do have to respect the Shadow Ball because it will almost KO me, and they're not going to get to a Shadow Ball anyways. So I might as well just shield. I don't see them baiting. So it is an Umbreon in the back. Extremely bad. I just have to chip it down as low as possible. At this point, we got we did have a shield, I think. Oh no, we didn't grab a shield, so this is very, very, very tough for us. Fortunately, I think Empoleon does survive double foul plays. Yep. And now we just need to take out 2 shields here. And I think I'm gonna go for a CMP tie, so that way my opponent has no energy. But my opponent is very smart. He threw right before I could get to my move, so he had very good counting. At this point, I realized that I was going to get to 2 serves first. So now I just have to watch out for a potential catch from my opponent, right? That's why I'm throwing after 1 Shadow Claw. When I see that Snarl, I know that's when my opponent cannot swap out, cannot sack swap. So I time it, my opponent couldn't swap out, and we get to the serve, and we end up winning that game. So even though Umbreon is very tough for this team, but there are ways around. So whenever you see Swampert in the lead, you think there is a Skarmory, right? This is something that that I definitely recommend you guys think about, predicting what they could have in the back. So whenever you see Swampert, you always want to think that they have a Skarmory in the back because it's a very common core. They have a Cresselia safe swap. At this point, I'm still thinking that they have a Skarmory in the back. So that's why I think I'm gonna bring out Altaria. Yep, I do bring out Altaria because in my mind I'm thinking that it has to be a Skarmory in the back. And if they do have a Skarmory in the back, then my Empoleon is going to do great. So we're able to farm it down with our Altaria. We have a move ready, and this is extremely good. We have extra energy. It turned out they had a Ninetales. Um, Fortunately, I guess it's in the same. It's the same thing as a Skarmory because our Empoleon can absolutely destroy this Ninetales, right? Let's see. I think I do just bring out my Empoleon here and start waterfalling. To bring back the Swampert. The thing about Swampert versus Empoleon in the Great League is 2 Hydro Cannons almost takes us out. So it's not good at all. We're going to catch a move here. I actually wanted to get to my serve, but I'm fine catching a move because that's essentially wasted energy for my opponent. They go for another Hydro Cannon here. I'm hoping that he doesn't get to another one, but he had another one. So he has so much farm on that Swampert. I have to shield these because I know that the Hydro Cannon is going to do the most damage here. They still have a shield, so I'm just going to try to farm it down instead of throwing a fast move. Instead of throwing a charge move, I'm just going to waterfall all the way down. Fortunately, we got to move through. Double Side Shock does not KO, and the Powder Snow essentially does no damage, and we were able to take the game with 1 HP. So that is just the power of Empoleon when it ends up having a good match. Okay, we saw a lot of Umbreon leads, and I think we're going to see a lot of them in this video as well. Let's see how we play out of them. Okay, so Umbreon in the back. Umbreon lead with Azumarill in the back. So they essentially have hard counters for my lead and my immediate swapping, right? But this is not game over, guys. This is not game over. Even though it looks really bad, but I'm telling you guys, this is there's still a chance to win. It all depends on what they could have in the back. Generally, it's not good, right? Losing the lead and the switching super hard. But what I'm going to do is just bring out my Mew, and I think I'm going to hard farm all the way down. Like I said earlier, energy is extremely important. I'm not going to shield the first one because I know I could survive. I do have to shield another move though. Yep, so he does get to a move here. I do have to shield that. But I will farm this Azumarill all the way down. I'm counting the bubbles. This is the 4th one, the 5th one. Okay, so we barely farm it down. But this is pretty good. We have 2 wild charges. Even the Umbreon, he has to respect the damage from the wild charges. It's going to do about 35% to an Umbreon. So, yep, so it does a lot of damage. And it turned out they have a Hypno in the back. Because we swapped out a little earlier with our Empoleon, we did get 1 waterfall worth of energy. And Hypno doesn't charge up energy very fast, so I believe that we should be able to actually outpace my opponent to the next Hydro Cannon, and we should be able to win this matchup in the 1 shield. Yep, so we do get to the Hydro Cannon here. I believe I could actually farm 1 more, but we end up just throwing one move earlier, which is also fine. They actually don't have the foul play. They went for the Dark Pulse. So I'm counting. I know they have another Dark Pulse here. That's why I'm throwing the move. Well, I only got to the move as well. But if this is a CMP tie, it will be very good. And it turned out to be a CMP tie. Even if it wasn't a CMP tie, I don't think they could farm us down anyways. So we end up taking that game. So like you guys saw, we lost the lead and the switching. But because we were able to get a lot of energy, we're able to turn that game around. This is actually against the Asian Milkman. Also has a very famous team with Mew, right? Mew, Scrafty, and Skarmory. So I know that team very well. I played against that team so many times. I've also played that team. So I know that in order to beat that team, I just need to take switch advantage. So I'm going to take switch advantage no matter what. Even if it means I have to go down 2 shields, I'm completely fine going down 2 shields. Because I know that if I have switch advantage, essentially this is game over. And Yep, so they do bring out the Scrafty, and I know for sure there's a Skarmory in the back, and Empoleon is an absolute wall against Skarmory, as you guys are going to see. That's the reason why I love Empoleon so much. It has a lot of play. We're able to get to actually 2 wild charges against the Scrafty, so that was very good as well. And we got farmed down, but we have Altaria, which hard counters. So the reason, as I was saying, the reason why I really like Empoleon is because it has play against some of the most common meta Pokemon. It has play against Azumarill. It can, it resists everything Azumarill throws, and it hits back with Drill Peck. And it does very well against Galarian Stunfisk, because your waterfall is going to chunk. And you get to the earthquake, you get to the hydro cannon before the Stunfisk can get to an earthquake. And you absolutely wall Skarmory, which we see very, very often. So at this point, we took the switch advantage, and we're just going to roll over that team. Next up, this is Azumarill. Okay, Azumarill leads are interesting. So you obviously want to stay in because your Altaria is very weak. And they come out with a Sableye. So like I said earlier, if you see Sableye swapping, this is what you want to do. You go for the Surf. And I think I go into Altaria. Yep, that makes sense because Altaria does not want to see an Azumarill, right? So that depends on what they have in the lead that I go into my safe swap. You have a very strong core anyways. Once you go in, or even if you lose the Altaria, you still have a very strong core in the back that can generally handle what they have, right? Let's see what they come out with. You do have energy here with the Altaria. He actually had a Marowak, but I'm not sure if that was a glitch. I don't really think it mattered though, because basically my Mew and Empoleon beats Azumarill, and it beats Marowak. So my opponent just has no play here. My Mew can handle the Azumarill, and it can handle the Marowak. My Empoleon can handle the Azumarill, and it can handle the Marowak. Essentially, my opponent has can't do anything. So once again, Empoleon can serve as an absolute core breaker, especially against a line that we see a lot of Azumarill, Abomasnow, and Alola Marowak. So in this game, we have Meganium, which is a very bad lead for us, but we also can't really swap out. So in this matchup, I just like to gracefully lose this matchup and hopefully farm down with our Altaria. Let's see if my opponent decides to shield anything. Nope. So my opponent has a ton of energy here, which is not great. So I bring out the Altaria, hoping that he would throw. He went to cast form, but I'm not going to swap out, because generally if your opponent does this, they probably have another hard counter to a flyer, right? So I'm just thinking whatever they have in the back is probably weak to my Empoleon. So even if they have a fire type Pokemon in cast form here, I'm not going to swap out, because I know that they want to bait out perhaps a water Pokemon or whatever that they don't want to see. That's why I preserved my my Empoleon here, and instead I decided to farm down. And turns out they had a Charm Ninetales, so I am so glad that we saved this Empoleon, because this Empoleon is going to be the MVP here at the end game. They do have a lot of energy on the Meganium. We're just going to double shield, because we know we could absolutely handle the Alola Ninetales. At this point, all we have to do is get to 2 Hydro Cannons, and then we have a Sky Attack stored on Altaria. So with a little bit of waterfall damage, we should be able to put it into Sky Attack range. They're going to throw a move here. A Weather Ball, Ice Weather Ball will not KO here, so they have to go for the Side Shock. And it actually didn't KO. I'm just going to swap into my Altaria and immediately KO with the Sky Attack. So yeah, whenever you lose the lead and you try to farm down a grass type and they swap out something that your Altaria can handle, my recommendation is don't swap out into your Empoleon right away. because generally they want to bait out something. So here we see a very similar situation that we've seen before. Umbreon lead with Azumarill in the back. So essentially, once again, we're getting hard countered in the lead. Mew against Umbreon, and here we have Altaria extremely hard countered against Azumarill. But this is fine, guys. This is fine. Even if you lose the lead and the switching very hard, there is still a chance that your finisher is able to handle what they have in the back, right? So let's see. Let's see how we play this game. Okay, so they're gonna get to the first move. Again, we're not gonna shield the first one. We know that we could survive. Again, I'm also trying to hard farm this down. So I do shield once, and I'm counting the bubbles. I think I actually counted 5 here, so I have to end up throwing a surf in order to bring down this Azumarill. And they bring back the Umbreon. We go for the Wild Charge. It will do a lot of damage if they don't shield. We're just going to chip it down as much as we can. Okay, so they have 2 shields, and now they're staying with the Umbreon. So that is very interesting. I'm wondering what they could have in the back. But I believe I don't shield this because I know I could tank a foul play. If they have a fighter in the back, then we're essentially hard countered and there's nothing we can do. But because they're just staying in, I'm going to stay in with the Empoleon. Obviously, I'm just going to throw my moves, and it's like my only healthy Pokemon here. Yep, I do shield this, which makes sense. And they swap out, so we do see what they have in the back, and it was a Chandelier. So that was an extremely weird team with double fire ghost in the back, and I believe it's actually something J. Robin Stacks ran, and it's a very interesting team, but we weren't able to handle it with our team. Okay, against another dark type Pokemon here, which is not great for us. We catch a foul play. That's what I like to do. When you build up to the Wild Charge, that's when they have a foul play, and that's when I swap out. So here, they're gonna stay in. This is also one thing very important to keep note of. Whenever they have Mana Buzz lead, generally they don't have an answer to Altaria, because it's like the same thing I was saying before. When they have a dark type Pokemon in the lead, they need an answer to Azumarill, right? So it could be like a grass type, which doesn't handle Skarmory doesn't handle our Altaria at all. So a lot of times they just don't have an answer for your Altaria safe swaps. And generally that's like the worst case scenario in the lead when you see a dark type Pokemon. But that's also when your opponent doesn't have an answer to a safe swap. So it's a little hard to grasp that idea. But yeah, generally when you're extremely hard countered, that's when the safe swap in this team can actually work. Let's see. So we did build up a lot of energy. We farmed on Toxicroak, and we were able to get both shields with our Mew with the double Wild Charge. Ended up they having a Quillfish in the back. So I actually remember this team because I played this person earlier, actually the day before, and I think I lost to him. His Quillfish in the back completely caught me off guard. It caught me off guard because I didn't know that Quillfish actually beats Empoleon with 2 Aqua Tails, I believe. But in the 1 shield. But in the 0 shield scenario, Empoleon does handle the Quillfish very well. And then we have our Mew with the Wild Charge here in order to finish off the Manda Buds in the lead. So yeah, that's when they couldn't have like a hard answer to the Altaria. Okay, again, Umbreon. We saw a lot of Umbreon leads. But this time they didn't have the Azumarill in the back, which makes sense because It makes sense that they have Azumarill, but it also makes sense that they don't have Azumarill. But they definitely need an answer for Azumarill. In this case, Deoxys is a good safe swap, and it's a very good answer to Azumarill, right? They actually went for the Thunderbolt, which is very interesting. That means they probably don't have Rock Slide, and because they swap out a little bit late, we were able to get to the second Sky Attack, and now we took Switch Advantage. Switch Advantage is very nice in this team because you always have a very solid core. In this case, we still have the Mew and Empoleon core in the back, and if they have a fighter, then Mew will be able to handle that. I actually had Tropius, which caught me a little off guard. I swapped out a little bit late, but I think we're still in a good situation here because all we need to do is get to 2 wild charges. We either chip it down a little bit, or we're able to grab all of their shields, right? We do have to shield once, and I go for another wild charge to force a shield, or we chip it down very, very low. So we do get the final shield, and now we're going to Empoleon right away. We want to get the Sky Attack, Drill Peck. We want to get a Drill Peck. The Leaf Blade does the most damage, that's why I'm shielding that. I know that I could farm 2 more, but my opponent actually swaps out. So I was just going to overcharge a little bit more energy and then go for the Hydro Cannon here. At this point, I think my only play is farm down this Umbreon all the way down. And I have to rely on my Empoleon to survive 2 foul plays. Let's see if we could do that here. Foul play, okay. And we survive with 1 HP yet again on Empoleon. And now we can finish off the Tropius with a Drill Peck and 2 Shadow Claws. So we end up taking that game, even though we got hard countered in the lead. And but we were still able to win the safe swap, the secondary matchup, and took back Switch Advantage in order to win that game. Here we have Mew against Tropius. This is not very great because it handles my Empoleon in the back, right? So I'm just going to chip it down as much as I can with the Mew. Go for the Wild Charge. And again, they swap out right away when they have a grass lead and they win that matchup. And once again, I'm going to stay in because that's what they always do. They want to bait out whatever you have in the back. So I'm not going to let them bait us out because I know that whatever they have in the back is very good against a flyer. It could be a Bastiodon, it could be a Registeel, it could be a Stunfisk. So I'm just going to preserve my Empoleon, and now I'm going to come out with Empoleon and farm all the way down to get a lot of energy here. And I think we're going to see what my opponent has in the back. It's definitely a counter to Altaria. That's the only reason they will go for that swap. And yep, it turns out they had a Registeel. So this is something that that's very important for this team. When you lose that lead matchup and you try to farm down with Altaria, and your opponent make aggressive swap, a lot of times you want to stay in that matchup unless it's a Charmer. So that's what we did. My opponent actually tried to make a catch, but I actually don't want to tank any Razor Leaf damage, so I'm just going to throw the move right away. I know I still have a Sky Attack stored, so my goal here is just to shield my Empoleon and force my opponent to throw a move. In the meantime, we're also going to chip it down with our waterfalls. So my opponent cannot farm me down. He has to throw energy. But we actually end up just getting to a Hydro Cannon first before my opponent was able to get to end the move. Even if they threw a move, our Altaria still had a Sky Attack and should be able to win that game. So let's see this game. Mew against Azumarill. So very, very good lead. Well, not like a perfect lead, but it's a pretty good lead. I was trying to throw at double wild charges. My opponent makes a great catch on that Galarian Stunfisk. So essentially, I wasted a lot of energy on my Mew, right? But because I had extra energy, I'm just gonna force my opponent to shield here with another serve. So my opponent does shield. I was trying to do the same thing to catch a rock slide on my Empoleon, but my opponent overfarmed, so I wasn't able to do it. And now we do have to respect the Earthquake. We correctly shield the Earthquake. I don't think my opponent was going to get to a Rock Slide and an Earthquake anyways. And now they had a Skarmory in the back. So my Empoleon is pretty much perfect against their entire team. And that is the reason why I love Empoleon so much here. We throw on the CMP for Brave Bird. Yep, that's what we did. So my opponent essentially had to make a choice of shielding and throw a move, or just letting the Skarmory go down with a lot of energy, right? And so now we have a shield advantage. We have a very healthy Altaria. We're going to soak the damage with our Altaria. And then we go into our Mew. And we do still have a shield, so that's all we have to do. We just shield once. And then I think I go for the Wild Charge here. Yep. Once this Wild Charge hits, if their Azumarill doesn't throw energy, we're going to Shadow Claw it down. But if they throw energy, they're at 0. And we're just going to farm the Azumarill down with our Altaria. And then we're able to get a Sky Attack against their very, very low Skarmory in order to take this game. So a good game to my opponent. I think this is the very last game of this showcase. So it's another Mew. Whenever you see a Mew, you want to try very hard to win switch advantage, because you always want to consider the possibility of opponent running the Asian Milkman's team, which has a Skarmory, Scrafty in the back. And if they do, then switch advantage is all you need in order to win this game. My opponent didn't shield the first serve, so I'm just going to double shield. Like I said, I'm suspecting this is Asian Milkman's team, and winning switch advantage means pretty much winning the game here. And they come out with Scrafty. I think I'm going to do the same thing of baiting with the serve first. And then I'm going to throw the Wild Charges. Yep. I actually threw S7 counters because I was hoping that they would throw a Foul Play or a Power Punch. But they just ended up farming us all the way down. But that is fine. We're both at 0 shields. Altaria is absolute wall against Skarmory, Scrafty. And Empoleon is an absolute wall against a Skarmory. So there is not much my opponent can do at this point. I think he does go for a Brave Bird, which means I should be able to farm it all the way down. I think I actually got a little scared. And also I really didn't need to. So that's what I'm just going to do. I build up to 2 moves, throw 1, and then go for the Drill Peck, chip down the Scrafty, and now my Altaria can definitely handle that matchup in the back. So I think that is all the games I'm showcasing today. We ended, that game was like the last game we played out of the sets, and we ended 35-53 MMR, which is around 50th place on the leaderboard. So like I said, this team is a lot of fun to run. I think Empoleon is extremely underrated in this meta. I think Empoleon is a very strong core breaker against a lot of the Pokemon that we see. And Mew is very flexible as long as they don't have a dark type Pokemon. Generally, Mew can handle a lot of the lead matchups. And like I said earlier, if they do have a dark type Pokemon in the lead, generally they don't have a perfect answer to Altaria. But yeah, so that is the end of the showcase. I hope you guys enjoyed this team. I hope I explained my thought process behind building this team well enough. And I hope you guys can find success with this team as well if you do decide to give it a try. yeah, thanks for watching, and give it a like and subscribe if you want to see more. I do like building a lot of different teams and hoping to get success with the teams that I build, and I don't mind sharing my ideas. So yeah, give me a subscribe and hit that like button. I really appreciate it. Thank you guys for watching. I will see you guys in my next video.